Now, every year the tour organisers review the race just gone and tweak the parameters of the one to come in the hope of producing the most interesting contest. This year they cut down on the length of the first time trial, perhaps trying to lessen its importance or at least keep things tighter between the contenders for overall victory heading into the Pyrenees. Of course, the organisers' intentions and the way the race actually develops always diverge sooner or later, and for at least one favourite, Denis Menchov, stage 4 in Cholet, even at a relatively flat 29 kilometres, had already become a huge test. It was a big day too, of course, for the time trial specialists, men like David Miller and Switzerland's Fabian Cancellara. And a specialised discipline takes specialised preparation.
You put some good music on, pump you really the whole thing up, and then you've self-motivated.
Get up, go on the home trainer, faff around, go to the start, ride around the course, talk to people, start time trial, go.
5, 4, 3, and when he say 2, I stand up on my bike, and then for me it's ready, because then I take a big breathe, then he say 2, 1, 0, and then go.
Time trials are very kind of rider specific. Somebody like me is very punchy. I kind of have to be putting it in the red and like kind of letting it come back down again. I'm very kind of aggressive.
I need a computer on my bike, because when I see 53, I say, okay, 53 is nice, but I have to go 54. When you have 54, you try to go 55. But then you have your sports director that he says in the blocks, come on, pick up the motorbike. And sometimes I say, hey, why I have to pick up the motorbike?
They can't get around these corners as fast as he can, Phil. They don't realise how fast this man is going.
Every rider is different. We all have our ways of doing it, and so for me it's that if I'm fit, I tend to be sort of just high revving and resting and kind of just constantly just digging deep and then shutting off, and it's kind of unorthodox, but that's the way I do it.
I have a big engine, but sometimes it's not only the engine that makes a difference, because without this you never will win races.
With no opening prologue this year, stage 4 was the first time out of the truck for the skin suits and the big hats, as the contenders for overall victory stopped eyeing each other for a day and concentrated on the clock. The first individual time trial wasn't long by Tour standards, 29 kilometres out from and back to Cholet. But with the outward leg against the wind and the return leg with it, there was some careful pacing to be done. That's Cadel Evans' strong suit, and he was looking to gain time before the mountains. The best early mark was set by Jens Voigt, until Denis Menchov, needing to claw back the losses he'd suffered on stage 3, shaved a second off it. The man expected to take a side to everyone's times had been Fabian Cancellara.
Fabian Cancellara's got 16 seconds to get to that line. It is still an awful long way, but he's desperate now. Has he reversed the deficit of 7 seconds at the last check into victory? He's sprinting here like it's the end of a mass start road race. 3 seconds, 2 seconds, he's done it! Goodness me, he has done it. Best time.
0.88 of a second he came across the line there.
Desperate.
He was looking at the clock, Phil, across the finishing line. I could see him chaining his gear up. He was getting the turbo. He was looking for 4th gear, 5th gear, 6th gear on that racing machine of his, and there's confirmation. There's still a lot of big names to come, though, as Cancellara stops the clock 1 second faster than Denis Menchov, 2 seconds faster than his own teammate. But this man, number 111, Stefan Schumacher, has just recorded the new fastest time at 11 kilometres, 15 seconds faster than Jens Voigt.
David Miller, the champion of Great Britain. He's 30 seconds ahead of Danny Pate, his teammate, so that will put him up amongst the leaderboard if he confirms when he gets through to the checkpoint at 11 kilometres, as Cadel Evans comes up to this vital first check to give us some idea. But it's a bit of a way behind Schumacher, but more importantly, it was about 4 seconds behind Menchov.
Cadel Evans has gone through there in 8th place, losing himself 22 seconds as we go back here to the finish line.
Well, this is amazing. Cancellara will be desperately surprised at this ride by Stefan Schumacher. It is going to annihilate the time of the world champion, and I think might lead the way to the best ever victory of his life. As he comes up to the line, he's looking at the clock.
Best time at the moment by 33 seconds, and look at this man's face here as he looks at the line. He doesn't even sprint, he knows he has to keep the pressure going all of the time, and that is a phenomenal new best time by Stefan Schumacher.
As we look here at Valverde heading in for the second check.
I'll tell you what, Valverde has actually improved, Phil, over the second part of this course. He was a long way down to begin with, but he's now moved up to 18th place, but the time he's lost is a minute at this point.
He's moved up 12 places, though, as Cadel Evans comes in to the finish here. Cancellara is the second best time. That is what Evans is aiming at now. And remember, Cancellara is the world champion. Cadel Evans is back in this Tour de France, if he was ever out of it, because now he's got the second best time. That is a terrific result for Evans.
Well, Cadel Evans has done a phenomenal performance there. He was a long way down, and he's actually improved at every individual time check, and that is a sign of a man who knows exactly how to ride an individual time trial.
Well, this is a super finish by Miller, but it's going to slot in probably in a second place finish here. Should be a good one for David. He'll have a high overall position tonight. He's ridden his best time trial for many years here, Miller, and he's taken it to the line. Second best time for David Miller. This is the interesting time. The arrival of the green points jersey leader here, Kim Kirken, and on many people's lips, a favourite to win the Tour de France too. His team have got great encouragement here for him, because they believe he could win the Tour de France.
Well, he's getting out of the saddle now and coming up to the line. And what a time to get our little technical problem. He stops the clock there. Phil, he's lost 18 seconds on Stefan Schumacher, and he's come across the line in second place, and he's telling Cadel Evans, watch out, mate, because I'm here to race this Tour.
Alejandro Valverde, what has he done between the 19-kilometre check and the finish?
Well, it's gone outside of the 37-minute time, and it's going to be closer, Phil, to 37 minutes and 20 seconds. Now, that will be a little bit of a shock to his system. He's got to get his mind back into this race.
Well, the mountains are just around the corner now. 23rd position, 37 minutes and 18 seconds for Alessandro Valverde. And that's a big gain for Cadel Evans today.
As the yellow jersey, Romain Fayou had the honour of starting last. He wasn't far off finishing last. He was 169th out of 178 riders, 4 minutes 59 behind the winning time. That belonged to Stefan Schumacher. He was 18 seconds clear of Kim Kirken, who was tenths of a second faster than David Miller. Cadel Evans beat all his rivals, although only by 7 seconds in the case of Denis Menchov. Alejandro Valverde, on the other hand, lost 1 minute and 7 seconds to the Free Tour favourite. Carlos Sastre was another 7 seconds behind him, and Frank Schleck lost over 1 minute and 3/4 to Evans. First blood to the Australian then, in what was really the first stage as far as he was concerned.
In my mind, for classification, really, this is really the first appointment for the GC favourites, I think. And like I said, so far so good. And let's see, in Super Best, I think will be the next real showing for the GC riders.
The immediate effect on the standings, though, was to produce the Tour's third race leader in 4 days. Stefan Schumacher had won the time trial by enough to take the lead, and the 4 men behind him, Kirken, Miller, Evans and Cancellara, also turned their stage finish positions into overall placings. Denis Menchov was solidly back in the hunt, 11th at 1:12. Alejandro Valverde had slipped to 17th at 1:27, just ahead of Andy Schleck, the best placed of CSC Saxo Bank's 3 contenders.